every Sunday, 3 p.m. On the West Coast, 6 p.m. on the East, and it makes it 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Hey, guys, and I see you on the set right now. Let me turn on the camera. Mad Mike. Hey, Madman.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
what is going on?
Everything's going on. Let's hear a little buzzing. Let's see. Where is that coming from? Okay, it's coming from your end.
I don't have anything on. I mean, even my air conditioner not on or anything.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, anyway, it's gone now. So, oh man. Ann is off today. I'm not sure whether CC will be joining us. Dr. Sims will be joining us or not. Uh, Perhaps she will. But anyway, very interesting week or so. And I wanted to start this off by saying a few things. Huh, okay. Let's see. I muted your mic and the buzzing. Yep, it's there on your end for some. I don't know what it is. I have no idea.
I mean, I don't even have my overhead fan going.
You probably have a whole bunch of electronics going on you. A whole bunch of. I have no idea. But before we get started, hey, I want to thank.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know where that buzzing is coming from. Like I said, it's on your end somewhere. I have no idea.
All right. Let me. I run two laptops like I always do. Let me move one away from the other one.
That could be it. I'm not sure.
Did it stop buzzing?
It is less. So yeah, it must be. Those two could be close by.
But these are the two that I usually run all the time, so I don't know why it's being.
Yeah, and I don't get that normally. Normally we don't get that. Okay.
Yeah, in fact, I've got nothing. My refrigerators aren't running. My overhead fan's not running. My air conditioner not running.
Well, I hope you. That was a joke. I had some friends.
What's that?
They used to play some cruel jokes. They would call up random people, right? And they would ask the person, anybody,
is your refrigerator running?
Yes, your refrigerator running.
You better go catch it.
Oh man, that's too cool. It's too cool. Hey guys, welcome again to the Boomerang Radio Show. A couple of things, man. This has been a strange week. Also, a lot of shootings, Mike. There was a shooting in Michigan today at a church.
Yeah, church. Yeah.
It's unbelievable. There's one time you never heard about shootings in churches. Growing up, we never heard about anything like that. Matter of fact, we didn't have school shootings. And gun violence is out of control. I know there are a lot of gun advocates out there, Mike. I know you're a gun advocate, and that's okay. But the problem is too many people or too many sick people own guns these days. Mental illness is on an incline here, as far as I'm concerned, in this country, and I think that's one thing that is overlooked. It's not looked at, and I don't understand. I really don't understand it. And then you have a lot of blame. People are blaming one another. Well, yeah, the right did it, the left did it, and instead of saying, this was a sick individual, whoever it was, because you have people that own guns, and they're very sane people, and they wouldn't dare going out just shooting up people. Okay, they'll go to the range and do whatever it is, right? Or they might have a gun to protect their families. But I think there should be something done to maybe background checks, and especially now. I know I don't know whether you agree with this or not. I think you should be at least 25 years old, and I think that you should go through a thorough background check, which includes a psychological exam. You have to take an exam to drive a car.
Sure.
And there are many professions out here where you have to take exam. So what's wrong with making sure that these people are fit to own guns? What's your take?
I have mixed feelings about this. And as far as blame goes, there's plenty enough blame to go around on all sides, from the middle to the left to the right. There's lots of blame that can be had from people saying stupid things that cause mentally ill people to act upon something stupid that they said. So I'll just start with that. As far as background checks, on the surface, I'm very much for it because I don't want felons out there buying guns. I don't want bad people that have mental illness buying guns. Now, having said that, herein lies the problem, because our Second Amendment says shall not be infringed. It doesn't say requires background checks. It doesn't say if you're mentally ill. It doesn't say if you're a criminal. So on the surface, I'm very much for it, but then you got to mix it in with our Constitution, and maybe we need to change the Constitution a little bit to make sure that evil people or sick people don't end up with guns. I don't like the red flag laws at all. And I'll explain it for people that don't know. If I have a neighbor that I know has guns and I think the guy or the gal is a whack job, I can report that to law enforcement and they will come and confiscate his or her guns without any due process. I'm way against the red flag laws. Mm. If they're modified so that the person that they want to take the guns away from because they think they're dangerous, if you modify that law so that they do get their due process, I'm fine with that. But you can't just run into somebody's house based on a pissed off neighbor because your dog barks too much. So he calls in and goes, oh, yeah, he's got guns and he's crazy. And then they take your guns away and it takes you months to get them back. I'm way, way, way against that. So that's red flag laws. I don't know. What do you think about that, William?
Well, if you're, I agree with you to a point. To a point, I agree with that. If your neighbor has been doing crazy things. Now, if he has a dog that's barking or he has his speakers turned up too loud, he's having parties and stuff like that, yes, I'm very much against that. But if your neighbor has a history of violence, if he has a history of doing weird and odd things, then I think that, yes, confiscate his guns.
Well, you still need I still believe you need due process, because what you have is you get a pissed off. Let's say you get a Karen that lives on your street and just hates the way you park your car too close to her property or whatever. And she uses these red flag laws nefariously to punish you or to spank you to get your guns taken away. And again, it takes you forever to get them back once you prove that you're not crazy. And if they're criminals, if they're violent criminals to begin with, they probably are not allowed to have guns anyway. But yeah, due process, I believe it needs to be in place.
Right. Let me just put it like this. If someone calls the cops on you because they are pissed off because you parked too close to the car or you got your speakers turned up too loud and stuff like that, then I think then it's up to the officers to find out or determine whether this person has committed a crime or not.
Do an investigation.
If has not committed a crime, then no. They should not be taking their guns away from them. I agree with that.
If you can take guns away from people for being a little odd and a little weird and a little strange, I wouldn't have guns because I'm a little odd. I'm Mad Mike on Thursday nights. Mad with 2 Ds means I'm a little nuts, but I'm not dangerous to anybody. I'm not a danger to myself. I'm not a danger to others. I'm a little wacky because I like to have fun and laugh and crack jokes. To some people that might put me in the weird category. So fine, I'll wear it, but I'm not dangerous to anybody. Weird
is not a crime. Weird exactly. Is not, acting silly is not a crime. Otherwise, both of us will be locked up.
Yep. Okay. Hopefully they put us in the same cell so we can make fun of each other.
Hey man, I'm telling you. So yeah. Hey, Velour Brand, thank you so much for tuning in. Let's see. I'm sure let me double check. I'm sure we're not playing any music right now, but we should be on Facebook Live. We should be on Facebook Live anyway.
Facebook's up. It's up and working.
Okay, great. I'm glad to hear that. So, but anyway, I'm going to get to this story. And this is troublesome to me. And and you can chime in right after I play this video. And you guys probably noticed there were two white guys that went on to what was that TSU campus, TCU campus. We'll check on that in a second. But that's a historically black campus, and they set up a table, and they had on the table DEI should be illegal. one sign, and another sign they had that all illegals should be deported. Now, the problem that I have, well, I'm going to tell you the problem I have with this on the way back. Let's see if I can pull this up for you. So, but in the meantime, guys, tell your friends to tune in. You still have time. The Buzz, we're here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with some of the finest programs you can find anywhere around the globe. So let's start with this clip right here. And Mike,
2 weeks since they put him on a shirt, and I'm tired of talking about him. But as we all know by now, he's gone. And the person that got him gone was a young white man with a Republican family. With those facts being present, you would think that black people would not get brought up in any of this. Wrong. A day after Charlie got put on the shirt, a whole bunch of HBCUs got targeted with death threats. Why? So we're on to it right now. It says Tennessee State University security. How did you allow these people on our HBCU campus? And it's a photo of two dudes trying to debate. They got a topic that says DEI should be illegal. Another one that says deport all illegals now. Let's talk. Oh my God. Y'all could have went to any school. Any school. Why choose an HBCU, bro? We have nothing to do with this. And they didn't want to debate at all. They wanted to rage bait some black people into being stereotypical, angry, people and become violent. But I'm glad that didn't happen. Let me show y'all the footage.
MAGA supporters invaded our HBCU.
What is going on over here?
Like, look at this shirt. Look at his hat, bro. You can tell he's there trying to rage bait.
We called the East primitive for what? We created y'all knowledge. We created y'all science. We created y'all
Preach,
math.
brother.
Shit besides steal.
Preach.
That didn't do anything to your You guys didn't make shit. You guys touch children. You guys fuck.
Showing them the door.
Hey.
We walking them to the door, y'all. I don't even know how they got on campus. We gonna figure that out.
Yeah,
but
that's like some.
I don't know. They need to get like a trespass, penalty or something because
Sending them off.
Tell him it's that boy. He thought he was gonna come up like
Man.
that.
yes. Say good job, TSU.
In 2025, we got to start making these racists feel scared again. I don't like how they thought they could go into a predominantly black college and talk about these type of things. Like they could have went anywhere. That's why I say we are the topic of discussion. These people are obsessed with black people. They swear they're a superior race, but can't keep us off their minds. Charlie Kirk died in Utah. I don't know the black population there, but it's very little. And they're in Tennessee. Why go to the predominantly black college in Tennessee and not to it just doesn't make sense. This is more footage right here of them being, kicked out. And man, I love it. This is how we got to treat these people. You know what I'm saying? All they do is steal and then put their name on it. Like, talking about they build and shit. What have y'all built? Like I said, America is built off the backs of slavery, immigrants. You know what I'm saying? Niggas say y'all ain't did shit. And I would proudly say that. Like, y'all shouldn't feel comfortable coming here. Go take your ass to a white college. Go to a PWI. This the energy we got to give these people, y'all. Enough of that kumbaya shit, bro. No more of that, for real. For real. We done tried MLK way, bro. We done tried it.
They're calling us stupid, but they wouldn't even talk to us on the mic. It's so funny.
Okay, y'all not there to try
to us.
Like,
they wouldn't talk to us. Now they yell at us and they just think they're right. What are they even teaching at Tennessee State? This place kind of is just crazy.
what
People are not educated very well.
y'all hear the dog?
All they know is attack, steal.
Hey, my son right here, but he just said all they know is attack and steal. Projection much?
Wow. And they're just following us still.
Yeah, get up. Why did y'all come onto the campus? This is what I mean, bro. They try to play victim, but you caused this. Look, like y'all see how white people love to try to play victim after doing something? Like, all we did was, you know what I'm saying? We spent 10 minutes at a HBC. They can barely speak English, let alone engage in civil discourse. Why do we have to nobody wants to? We don't want to talk to you. Why are you there? You weren't invited. You seen what happened to Buddy talking out his neck and got hit in his neck. That's gonna be y'all niggas. Get the step in. This is very embarrassing for the HBCU. This is what I mean, bro. Like you can't talk shit to people and then control how they react. Like this is what Man, I can't. I'm not gonna. This is the lady who commented on that. She's a black woman with a white man. It's always these types, I swear. The wig always tells too, bro. They don't even know how to do that shit right. This video not gonna be long at all, bro. But we really gotta start showing these people. We gotta get this energy out because it's like it's wicked out here, bro. And like I said, white people love to play victim. They throw rocks and hide their hands. They showed up here. Then you see the narrative they try to paint. You could have went to any college. Why go to a HBCU? We had nothing to do with the fucking t-shirt putting of Charlie Kirk there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. I'm out, y'all. This shit piss me off.
All right. Let's get back. Mike, let's stop. We're going to do this. Okay. Hold on. All right, let's do this. Okay. Let's get rid of that. Okay. My take on this, Mike, and you can chime in and give your opinion. You know, you and I both said, and the day it happened, I said to you, Charlie Kirk shouldn't have been murdered. No one had the right to take his life. And I have to give props to his wife too, because I saw her speech at the funeral. And I tell you what, she was a lot more gracious than I would have been if someone had taken my loved one. She said she forgave the shooter. I said, wow. I'm not so sure that I would have been that gracious at all. I'm not so sure. And I hear people all the time when they lose a loved one and someone has by the hands of some person, and they say, well, I forgive him. I have a tough time with that. But having said that, she was very, very gracious. Our president, not so much, because he said he hates his opponents. He hates them, you know. But I have to give her props. But my point here, and you can jump in right after the finish here. Excuse me. Those two young men had no business going on their college campus for a couple of reasons. To go on a college campus or a school, you want to set up a debate or anything like, you must have permission. You must have permission to do that. They didn't. They just walked on an HBCU campus, wearing MAGA hats, set up a table, and what they have on there, and I know you have your opinion about DEI, and I have mine as well. DEI should be illegal. You're going to go on a black campus and say DEI should be illegal? And I don't think they went there to debate. I think they went there, to get the reaction that they got. Now, let's say you have somebody from the Black Panther Party, and they go on a predominantly white university campus and set up a table and set up whatever sign they want. They will be immediately kicked off. Immediately, if not arrested for trespassing. Because number one, you have to have permission to go on these college campuses. And I think it's a shame. Something else, and I'm gonna let you take over in a second here, is that the day after Charlie Kirk was shot, a lot of HBCUs had to shut down because of death threats. The last time I checked, it wasn't a black person that shot Charlie Kirk. There was not. Why was the HBCUs targeted? It makes absolutely no sense at all. Black people had nothing to do with that. Okay, yet these schools were targeted, bomb threats, and they had to shut the campuses down. Okay, because of that. Mike, your opinion about these guys showing up at the HBCU?
Well, they're morons, number one, because they went there to incite. They didn't go there to have a productive discussion, which is something that Charlie Kirk, I believe, in my eyes, after watching hundreds of hours of Charlie Kirk over the years, He doesn't incite violence. He invites people to come up and have a discussion with him. He asks people that have an opposing opinion of his to come to the front of the line. And if you notice, he doesn't yell or scream or anything. And he was trying to go about it the correct way, and he had permits and stuff. For these two morons to go on a campus, you know, being an idiot doesn't have a color. So let's start with that, because you can find idiots everywhere of every color. Let's be clear. These two had a purpose, and their purpose was for their YouTube channel or whatever channel they have, whatever TikTok, whatever, was to get views. And they knew going in that it was going to be a very charged situation, with violent situation. And that's what they wanted. They wanted to push buttons, and they got what they wanted. They got reaction. They got negative reaction, people screaming and hollering. On the other side of the coin, where do you draw the line with regard to freedom of speech? Because being a moron, you still have your freedom of speech.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, where is that line, and who determines where that line is? Who determines what words are enough hate speech that it should be censored? You know, you can drive down the street or watch a cop go down the street, and when they look at you, you can flip them off. That's covered under freedom of speech. But that's incendiary to do that. That's invoking emotion by doing that. But you know what? It's your First Amendment right, freedom of speech. It's been determined by the Supreme Court, and I agree with that. If the cop can't handle somebody hollering bad words at him, calling him pig or whatever, and flipping them off, or saying things that are inflammatory, well, then the cop shouldn't be a cop, number one.
Right.
So let's make sure that our freedom of speech is properly protected. Mm-hmm. And morons, usually they get their comeuppance somewhere along the way. Mm-hmm. However, I don't think that's the case with Charlie Kirk. I don't think he was a moron at all. I think he was very brilliant. He obviously had a very religious background, and he wanted people to talk. And I think that's a good thing. And William, as much as you and I have known each other, and as much as we talk, we believe that a good open conversation is healthy. So that's my feeling on all of that. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, you did. Well, see, yep. And so where you draw the line as far as freedom of speech is concerned, like you said, these two are morons. And like I said, there are many, many morons. And being a moron doesn't have a color. I go along with that. The way I draw the line is they could have set up that table outside on the sidewalk, away from the college. They did not have permission to do that.
They would have got the same reaction, even if they were in close proximity on public property. They still would have got the same reaction.
Well, guess what? Because that way, well, like you said, freedom of speech goes both ways. But my point, and the point that I'm making is, and like you said it also, they went on there, they had a purpose. Okay, yeah, for Little Brown, campuses do need better security. That could have been a lot worse. It could have been. They could have had their butts handed to them. I mean, physically handed to them. Okay, but they went on, and to me, they felt that they had privilege, Mike. You know, I can go anywhere I want. I can even go on a black campus, you know, even though they have white students at that campus, on that campus, right? But it's predominantly historically black university. My point is, and you said it earlier, they went on to get a reaction. They didn't go there to debate. They didn't go there. And then you think about the sign that they had. DEI should be illegal. Well, to most black people that I know, that's a slap in the face. Some people who aren't of our ilk or race or whatever it is, they would say, well, you know, or most non-white people, they believe in DEI because, please understand, this is my understanding here, and I'm going to say this until I turn white.
Okay. Well, I want to be around for that to happen.
I'm going to say this, yeah. But my point is, what people need to understand is that the people who have the voices out here, the influential people who have influence, they have bastardized what DEI really means. I'm going to say it over and over and over again. Because I'm going to tell you, without DEI, the United States would not be as prosperous as it is. We can go all the way back to the 1800s, and you look at all the brilliant inventions that Black people and contributions Black people have made to this country. We can go anywhere from railroads to medicine to aviation, all over the place. And it took diversity to be able to get that. In a lot of cases, and there's so many, we're going to do a show on this also. A lot of Black people that invented things, their patents were stolen from them. Some got them, a lot got them through. But we could go from anywhere. How George Washington Carver. We can go to the gentleman who also, how about Drew, Dr. Drew, who invented blood plasma. We can, how about the traffic light? We can go everything to the ice cream scooper, the elevator shaft. Elevators were made safer because of a Black man, because of the way he reconfigured how elevators should work. Because people were dying, they're falling down elevator shafts, and so there's so much, and that is called diversity. It's diversity, and you can look this up, and maybe you have already. But corporations who have a diversity and equity and inclusion program, they are far more profitable. It is a fact. I've checked it out from several resources. And so many might say, well, they got the job because they're Black. I take insult to that. I'm insulted for that, because I've had many high-level jobs, industry jobs, right? I was a stockbroker. I was also a partner with one of the major firms out here. I was and even from my sales career earlier, I was with 3M Corporation, and I was in the top quarter of sales across the country. And do you know, in many cases I was the only Black person there. So if it was in favor of Black people, then it would have been more people look like me in those classes. When I became a stockbroker, out of 200 and over 250 people, we had less than 10 Black people in there. We probably had equal amount or lesser than that Hispanics in there. You see, so diversity. We want it's a diverse culture. It's a diverse. United States is diverse. The last time I checked, we have people from everywhere.
The melting pot.
It's the melting
America
pot.
is the melting pot. Yes.
Okay. So in the melting pot, you've got geniuses across the board. You got smart people across the board.
And
you got
unfortunately, stupid
people across the board.
too.
Okay. And to say that somebody got the job because they were Black, or they were Asian, or they were this or that and the other, or they were a woman, I think that's patently false. That is patently.
May I ask you a question?
You sure can.
Based on what you just said, that is false, that people got the job because of their color. Do you think that never happens? Do you think certain corporations or businesses don't try to balance out their workforce so they look good on paper?
I think.
Be honest.
Okay. You know what? Yes, I think so. However, the person that got that job had to be qualified to get it.
Maybe not.
I don't know. I really don't know. Let me tell you why. I really don't think so. Because see, all that corporation had to do, when the government was putting pressure on and said, no, you've got to hire more Black people or Asian or whatever it is. Okay. And even when they hired them, the percentage was maybe 10% of the workforce. The rest was 90% white. But the point that I'm getting at, I think what happened is, and all they had to do to let's say, satisfy what was asked, or even in some cases required, like with affirmative action, was to at least interview that person. They didn't have to hire them. If they interviewed that person, okay, then that made a difference. That made the difference. I mentioned to you and the rest of the panel earlier before. There is a football had to put in a Rooney Rule, and the Rooney Rule said you had to at least interview a black coach or someone be a black coach, because before then, out of 32 teams, well, they've gotten more over the years, but there are 32 teams now. They were not even hiring or interviewing a black coach. No matter what my credentials come, I'm bringing this to you. I don't even get an interview. So that's why affirmative action and DEI are important. At least give me a chance for you to find out if I'm qualified. If that white guy over there is better than I am, I don't expect to get the job. Okay? I really don't. If that Asian guy over there is better than I am, then he should get the job. And I think that's why most corporations did that, because these corporations aren't stupid. They're not going to hire a jackass knowingly or some imbecile knowingly. I mean, you wouldn't, I wouldn't. And I'll tell you something else. If I have two candidates, because, I was in a position, in a few of the positions or jobs that I had, that hire people. And there were some black people that came to my office that I did not hire. Okay. And I had, it didn't matter to me. The most qualified got the job. And it could have been a woman. It could have been a man. It could have been a white man. It could have been an Asian guy. I picked the person that I thought was most qualified for the job. And I think that now you have some people that aren't fair-minded. You have some people, some guys out here, they're not going to hire a black person no matter what. And then in a lot of cases, if they do hire the guy, then he may be harassed by some of his coworkers. That's happened many times.
Yep.
It's happened many times. So, Mike, to answer your question, I don't think that any employer who's trying to make a profit is just going to hire somebody just because they're one race or another. Hey, Emma. Hey, Valor. Yeah, Valor campuses do need better security. It could have been a lot worse. I mentioned that earlier before. Okay. So anyway, Mike, my thing, like I said, I don't know. I was watching a clip from Roland Martin, Unfiltered, and we were talking earlier, Emma and Valor, about these two white guys going on that campus at TCU, and Roland thinks it's going to happen again. I hope not. I hope not.
Will. Oh, it will. Like I said, morons, they're morons because they're not very bright. And I mean, when you're not very bright, you do a lot of stupid stuff, and eventually catches up with you. What is it? You reap what you sow. And I believe that to be very true. So if you want to sow being a moron and saying hateful things and trying to upset other people, then you'll get yours along the way.
Yeah.
Karma will smack you in the back of the head with a tin pan.
It's like my mom had a cast iron skillet. She cracked my brother with the cast iron skillet one time for saying the wrong thing. But no, yeah, you're exactly right. But again, these two guys, they didn't seem very bright themselves. And walking on camera, well, what are they teaching these students here? They can't be very bright. What? And then if you're going to start a conversation with DEI should be illegal, and you're going to come to me and you're going to start the conversation off with that, now if you say, look, number one, you shouldn't be there, get permission. What do you think? What is your position on DEI? Like if you or anybody else came to me, what is your position on DEI? Then we can have a conversation. Okay, we can have a conversation. But you're going to come in there insulting but like you said, and like I said, they did that to get a reaction, and they got what they got.
They got what they wanted. They
They got
pushed
what they
buttons
wanted.
and people reacted. And
And
the
that's
smarter
exactly-
thing for the students to have done was not to scream and holler at them, is to come at them thinking and saying, well, you explained to me why it should be illegal. And they should have put them back on the spot.
Well, the students weren't having it. They weren't having it. I don't
I
know.
understand why.
Yeah, I understand too. They weren't having it. They didn't want to have a conversation with them because I think that they felt that it would have been pointless. And you come on, it's just like we coming in, or someone coming in your house, opening your front door and saying, Mike, you got a whole bunch of guns here. That should be illegal. Well, if they make it out of your house, if they make it out alive,
They can have my guns, but it's going to be one bullet at a time.
this is what I'm talking about. I don't think that you would be in a mood to debate. I don't think there's anything to debate. They're coming in on your property in your house, okay, and telling you what you should or should not do, and that their opinion is that, Mike, your guns, you should be locked up because your guns are illegal or your guns are illegal. See, this is my point. No, I agree with you that these guys, they got what they wanted. They wanted clicks on their Instagram or YouTube or Facebook or whatever it is, but they look like complete morons. I hope they cut this mess out because there's no room for it. And they could have had that conversation. There are thousands of universities across the country. Why pick a black one to do it? Why? Because they wanted that.
Yeah, of course they wanted that. But then we're back to freedom of speech again. And I've told this story a couple of times on Boomerang. When I was a young deputy, I was on a mounted patrol. And the KKK in Fontana was a big deal back in the early 80s. I don't know how further back, but the year I'm talking about is 1983. The steel mill was hopping. The grand wizard for the KKK lived in Fontana, I believe, at the time. And they would do their yearly parade where the KKK would put on a parade. I don't remember if it was on Baseline or Foothill, but one of the major streets. And it was all permitted. It was all planned. It was all attended. And a whole bunch of people didn't like the KKK parading down one of their major streets in Fontana, especially since it was a steel mill city. And we had to go out there for mounted crowd control, because horses are a very effective crowd control tool. And our job, whether we liked it or not, our job was to protect the KKK from the protesters. Even if we didn't agree with the KKK and they were trying to spread their poison and beat their chests or whatever they wanted to do, our job was to protect them. And I think I told you, my mother, when we were growing up, and my brother, he can confirm this, but my mother would say, gosh, what was the term? Hate comes in all colors. And as I'm out there and I'm not liking what I'm seeing, and I've got to protect them, it's my job. As my mother's words kind of came in the back of my head and tapped me, and hate comes in all colors. And at that moment, I had an epiphany where if hate comes in all colors, the reverse of that is good must come in all colors. So, and that really stuck with me. And I did my job. And I shortly after that, I think as the years went on, I think KKK kind of lost their standing, and I think the Grand Wizard went somewhere else or died or whatever he did. But they stopped doing those KKK parades in Fontana, California, which for those of the maybe listening, it's in Southern California.
It's really funny.
Bernardino County.
As a matter of fact, I was there. I moved to Southern California in 1982. And the first place that I lived was in Fontana. And I was this gracious man, Raymond Turner. and he eventually he became a pastor now, Dr. Turner. He's still a pastor there in San Bernardino, and I lived with him for a while. And he was telling me, he said, you know, the KKK, they're getting ready to plan a rally. I said, whoa. Woman, I came to Southern California for this mess? I said, women, hold it. And so, yeah, I agree. But yeah, I don't envy you for having that job, even though I know you had a very successful career. 30 years with the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department. I had a lot of fun visiting you at the crime lab, is it ballistics lab? Oh man, I had no idea. That was so fascinating to me. You know how you guys go about doing your jobs and identifying, you know, markings on bullets after they fired. For some strange reason, I thought that was fascinating.
It is.
You know?
Well, it is fascinating.
Yeah. But yeah,
when you fire a bullet out of a gun, whether it's a pistol or a rifle or bazooka, whatever else, it leaves what I like to call a fingerprint on the bullet, on the projectile, because every rifle has its own, every barrel with the twists and turns and markings, it impacts that bullet and imprints onto that bullet that leaves the gun, and it has its own distinct fingerprint, just like you and I have distinct fingerprints. And so when you recover a bullet, you can match it to the exact gun if you can find the exact gun.
Even though that gun is made, they're all manufactured the same way, it still has its own distinct marking on it.
Yes, it
right?
does.
Oh, crazy. That's why I thought it was absolutely fascinating. I thought it was absolutely fascinating. Hey, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate you. And share this with a friend, if you will. We try to bring informative programs that you may or may not have witnessed during the week. And, you know, we have our own lives. And a lot of people, they were tuned to the show to find out, hey, what is Mad Mike while we were talking about? What is Dr. Sims or Ann is talking about? And we really, really, really appreciate it. And also on the 12th, we have, last week, our special guest came on, Mr. Peter Radcliffe. He'll be back on the 12th.
Nice.
Be back on the 12th. So that's going to be very, very interesting. And what would intrigue me about him was the fact he wrote a book when he was his thesis coming out of to get his PhD out of the University of Pittsburgh, that he wrote a thesis on black labor, and he based it on Richmond, Virginia. Guess where I am? Richmond, Virginia. And you know what's really crazy is that I've learned a lot from him that I had no idea that went on in my city. It's just crazy. But one beautiful thing about this is that he shared there was a time when whites and blacks worked together in unison to build a better city. They worked together in building the city, managing the city, governing the cities, you know, and it was just a beautiful thing. And then, of course, you had some nefarious individuals or people who didn't want unification or a unity to come in and destroy everything. So we'll talk about that on the 12th. But there's another part of the show I want to get to, Mike. And let's see, what is this? Okay, here it is. Ooh. Let's see what we have here. Folks, please tell a friend to tune in to the Buzz Studio W. Okay, but not for you. Let's see, what is that? Is this what I think it is? All right, we'll see right now. And okay, skip that. Let's go.
The very first amendment to the U.S. Constitution right here was ratified on December 17th, 1791. It's been around for a while and subject to evolving interpretations. But there is once again today, and particularly in the last few weeks, confusion and misconception about this most fundamental right that Americans hold, free speech. You know it's important because it's among the first amendments. It's called the first one, but it was ratified with a number of other amendments. And we need to start by ridding ourselves of the notion that many on today's political right actually care that much about free speech. Here's how you can tell. The same people who once posed as champions of free speech during the years when Donald Trump wasn't president are now demanding government sanction, criminal penalties, firings, and surveillance of those who criticize them. First Amendment scholar Marianne Franks warns that Donald Trump has unleashed the greatest assault on free speech since the Red Scare, all while simultaneously claiming to defend it. It's like if you say free speech often enough, the public might not notice that you're actually stripping it away. Here's how this is playing out. We've seen broadcast licenses threatened when networks aired speech that the ruling party doesn't like. We're in a wave of media mergers and deregulation of the media that is consolidating pro-Trump gatekeepers across platforms, from broadcast airwaves to social media. We're experiencing censorship by proxy, where government officials lean on private entities to suppress dissent. And the encouragement of ad hoc blacklisting. For example, when officials like Vice President J.D. Vance urge Americans to report their neighbors to employers for certain types of online speech. And of course, they claim all of this is being done in the name of free speech, which would be gaslighting, except gaslighting is just a lie. Doesn't feel like strong enough a word for a lie that undercuts one of our most important constitutional protections. So what's really going on? Why has today's GOP seemingly turned its back on free speech when under Biden, all they did was claim its virtues? Longtime observers like Matt Stoller argue that the GOP has embraced a Hobbesian view of freedom, in which freedom really means domination. The 17th century English philosopher Thomas Hobbes argued that people owed obedience to a sovereign ruler, and failure to comply led to chaos. Stoller writes, quote, "Today that sovereign is Donald Trump. And in the zone of discretion he allows, there is liberty. Free speech in the context of the right means being free to use anti-woke rhetoric because such freedom is what a wise ruler allows. Trump may revoke these rights at any time since he is entrusted by a higher order to protect us. And this dynamic explains the inability of conservatives to criticize their leader or those above their station. They see the attack on the left as morally virtuous, the duty of a legitimate sovereign. And to the extent that there is criticism of Trump, it is for not being aggressive enough."
All right, let me stop this right now. Okay. Oh, that's good. I won't allow me to do that. Oh, this anxious me. Okay. Okay, we're back. And Mike, you talked earlier, and we're talking about freedom of speech. And it seems like this administration is talking on both sides of their mouth. One thing they says, hey, yep, we welcome to free speech. But it's free speech for me, but not for thee. This is what I'm getting, okay? Just like with Jimmy Kimmel being, and I do want your opinion about that too. Jimmy Kimmel being taken off the air for a few days, right? Because he said something that Trump did not like. And this is the problem that I'm having. In this administration, he's hiring people to carry his water. Whatever he wants, this is what they are doing. This is dangerous. And for you anti-DEI folks out there, and those who have bastardized the term DEI, this is the most awkward, unintelligent, stupid, there's not enough adjective, administration I've ever seen in my life.
Well, I don't know. I've seen some pretty stupid administrations. So
administration,
well, stupid.
Mike, I've never seen anything this dumb.
Oh, I have.
Well, we can talk about that.
Going around out there.
No. Everybody, nobody there is qualified. Pete Hegseth. This guy leaks like a sieve. And he has a past that is not something that you could admire. He's accused of rape. He had settled a lawsuit on that. They say he's drunk on the job. He's been firing generals left and right. He's taken down history, in the Army. And I forgot where they keep all the hosts at the Pentagon, I believe. Taking down portraits of Jackie Robinson. Now, you called me and text me about that and tell me how wrong that was before I knew it had happened. The Red Tails, Tuskegee Institute, one of the finest flying airmen in history. He wants to take that down. He fired a 4-star general who was the head of the Department of Defense. I mean, look, and he cannot. Bombing boats off of Venezuela. Now, you had something to say about that. Well, that was a drug boat. Really? We don't know because he blew up the evidence. How stupid is that? So, if you want to make a case, well, and guess what? And they didn't even have enough gas to get to the United States in that boat, the size of that boat.
Well, one of the boats that they blew up, you're covering a lot of things. I mean, I'd like to go back to Jimmy Kimmel, but one of the boats, one of the boats they blew up, they recovered not all the dope, but a lot of the dope that was floating in the water in packages. They recovered like hundreds of pounds of dope. So I'm pretty sure that they do their homework before they start blowing up boats. And I'm kind of in the case of blowing up these boats, I think the ends justifies the means, because we have a massive drug problem that's killing Americans. And if you have the intel and you can see, I mean, I've got vision equipment, infrared equipment and stuff that I can see the craters on the moon with. And if you can recognize dope that's being transported towards America from these places that want to poison America, and going through the regular channels of trying to arrest them and prosecute them and all, and it's not working. I'm pretty much okay with them getting blowed up for trying to hurt America. So I'm okay with that. And if I can go back to Jimmy Kimmel.
Wait a minute, can we stop right there for a second?
Okay, but you're covering a lot of topics without.
Let me just answer your question there.
Sure.
I haven't seen a single report that they recovered any drugs. Haven't seen. I've seen. Please send it to me, and I'm gonna tell you, I haven't seen it. No, this is the thing about it. They were more than 1,500 miles away from the United States, and they didn't have enough gas in that boat to get here.
How do you know?
It's been reported. It's been widely reported.
If you blew the boat up, how do you know how much gas was on it in cans?
Well, but the size of the boat wouldn't allow them to get here if the tank was full. That's what I'm getting at. Now, number two, if you can blow up that boat, and we certainly had the manpower to be able to do that, why not take over the boat? They could have taken over the boat, and if that boat was packed with drugs, they're definitely going to get a conviction or whatever it is. They have every right. They could seize the boat. And then they have proof to the American to the American public that yes, we got this. Now I haven't seen. Send me the pictures, but I'm gonna tell you something.
I can answer your question. But you
gonna kill people
if they seize the boat.
Okay.
These drug people know that they're going to lose a certain amount of their product because of military and or police intervention. They're going to lose a certain amount. They're willing to do that because it's extremely profitable, the dope business in America. So what happens is, as they arrest these people, they confiscate that set of drugs. But for every one they confiscate, there's hundreds more boats doing the same thing. So if you really want to stop it, if you want to nip it in the bud, as they used to say, you start blowing them up, and all the other 99 boats will start thinking, ooh, maybe I don't want to get blowed up.
Well, let me answer this. Most of the drugs that come into this country aren't coming that way. They are coming either by air or they are using submarines. Okay, again, and then on top of this, as an investigator, Okay, and let's say you've been on probably some raids or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
As an investigator, you don't walk in that house shooting up everybody. You don't do that because what you guys
Due
do,
process.
that's exactly right.
Day in
Because
court. Due
again,
process.
Due process. So what you do, you go in there, you arrest the people, you confiscate the drugs, right? And then you have a case to build in court because now, Your Honor, we
And
had
does
the warrant. We have the warrant, right? We had the warrant. Here is the evidence. Here are the people that's committing this crime. I think that they should have given these. They didn't give these people a due process.
Good.
They blew them up. That
Good.
was a due
because
right.
because if you go through the normal channels that you just talked about, when you arrest people, you do a raid, you don't kill anybody, which I'm not for killing people in general. However, if you go through the normal channels and you prosecute this let's say 0.1% of the drug trafficking that's going on, it doesn't send a message to the rest of the drug traffickers. This sends a message. You blow them up, and they know they got drugs on there. They can tell.
You know what? I'm not so sure.
The normal legal process is not stopping the flow of drugs because you're only catching a small percentage of these drug dealers.
Again, then that is Venezuela's fault. Okay, now we can't. No, again, we have no real evidence that they were heading to the United States. The reports that I've been reading in more than one source, I just don't take one. If I hear something on CNN or hear something on MSNBC, I go to other sources. And if I'm hearing the same thing over and over and over, then I said, okay. Then I start using common sense. Well, this doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. But what doesn't make sense, if you really want to get to the bottom of it, then you capture the people, you capture the drugs, and then they don't want to do life in prison. Okay, then these people can become informants for you, so you can know so you can find out where the larger stash of drugs are.
You still haven't even made a tiny little dent in the drug trade,
Mike.
You haven't done anything.
Well, guess what? Until you get to the bottom line of it, you're not going to make a dent. What I'm saying is, this could be your ticket to get to the kingpins. If you got 7 people here, why not? Why not?
Really?
And like being in law enforcement, you know that people rat on people all the time to get themselves out of trouble.
All you're getting is the little guys. And let me remind you of a little saying called Occam's razor.
No, go on.
Let's go back. You said common sense. Let's go back to common sense. There's a saying called Occam's razor. It says, all things being equal, the simplest answer to a given question is usually the most correct. So you've got these speedboats with 3 motors on the back or 4 motors on the back, and their trajectory is directly headed towards the United States. What do you think the simplest answer to that question is? You think they're going fishing with all that dope on board? No. They're headed to the United States. Maybe they're going to meet another boat halfway and hand off the dope.
Maybe.
And the next boat takes over. I don't know. But if they're headed towards the U.S. and they're loaded with dope, what's the simplest answer to the question? They're gonna sell it off to the United States. They're gonna poison us and our kids. That's common sense. That's common sense.
Well, no. What common sense is, we don't know. We still don't know. And I'm not convinced that there were drugs in the boat. It could have. They could have been. It could. No, hold on. It could have been drugs on the boat. It could have been
on a mission of mercy, right?
I don't know. However, like I said, we don't know until we capture these people. Okay, you put them in jail. You put the pressure on them and have them to testify and tell you where the kingpins are.
They've been doing that, and it's not working. It's not stemming the flow. Again, you're only taking a tiny little portion, not even a dent in the trade. So they can capture and they can arrest and they can prosecute all these people and put them on jail. And the kingpins know they're going to lose some, but they know they're going to win most. And that's the common sense approach.
No, I disagree, counselor. I disagree with that wholeheartedly. And like I said, again, I want to get to the source of it. Okay, and instead of getting to, I don't want to treat the symptom. I want to get down to it. Where's the main stash? That's how I do this, right?
Good
And like I
luck.
said, the size of that boat and what's been reported. Again, I got this from more than one source. What's been reported that we don't know whether they're really coming to the United States or not because they don't have the fuel. Maybe they could meet up with another boat.
A relay.
Could. All right.
But they're headed directly. When they're headed directly towards the U.S.? Where do you think they're going? Do you get on the freeway and drive the wrong way to where you're going? No, you drive direct. You drive it. The shortest line between 2 points is a straight line, and their straight line was headed directly for the U.S. What in the hell do you think they're doing, William?
How many countries are between Venezuela and the United States, Mike? How do you know? They could have been going somewhere else in South America. They could be going somewhere else. Again, you blew up any evidence that you have. You blew it up.
No.
Yes, you did.
No, they recovered a lot of it because it floats.
Mike, I have not.
They have recovered.
I have not seen any reports. Please send that to me.
I haven't. I've seen the pictures.
Please, I want to. And then you know what? And with this administration, I'm not so sure if they were doctored. I'm not so sure if they took pictures from something else that happened. They've done that in the past. As a matter of fact, they've done that here this year when they were talking about crowds doing certain things and stuff like that. And they sent in photos of something that was not even related to it. So, no, I don't trust this administration. They've lied.
This administration is the only administration that ever did that, right? The other side never doctored anything. The other side never lied to us. Pelosi never made all kinds of money off of insider trading. Yeah. It's always the right that's doing the wrong thing.
How did insider trading get into this?
You're talking like everyone on the right has dirty hands, and everyone on the left has clean hands.
And I didn't say that.
As I've said before, it's both sides.
You know, I didn't say that. I did not say that. As a matter of fact, I've admitted when there is someone on the left side that has committed a crime, just like the guy, Mr. Gold Bars, okay? Anybody else you can come up with. But see, the thing about it is not a fair comparison because there are more people on the Republican side that have committed crimes in this administration. You got crooks in the administration, okay? Right now, you have...
And no other administration had crooks.
I didn't say that.
No. Well, that's what you're implying. That is what you're implying, and that's not fair.
No. I don't need to imply. I don't need to imply. I say what's on my mind. I'll tell you what's on my mind. I didn't say that. I said when there is one. As a matter of fact, I've called out Nancy Pelosi before too, and you know it. I called her out for her inside trading. Okay, insider trading rather. I've called her out. So no, don't pull that on me. Nope, I'm not implying anything. All I'm saying that if you want to go by the numbers, your numbers will blow on the right side would blow the left side out of the water. It's just like this claim.
I'm not so sure about that.
I'm positive about it.
There's too many dirty politicians out there on both sides.
Mike, I got that. Okay, you're exactly right. Did I just say? I forgot what's the guy's name that had gold bars in his. He was convicted. I think he's in prison right now too. He was a senator, Democratic senator. I forgot his name. Anyway, yep. And matter of fact, and I tell you what, the Democrats didn't cover up for him either. They didn't cover for him. But I see the opposite on the other side. You got one guy right now. Oh my God, the border czar. Right now, that's accused of taking a $50,000 bribe. I know you read about that. And they don't want the Department of Justice, they don't want to look into it. Okay. He's working in the administration right now as a border czar. And the FBI has
Tom Holman.
Oh, yeah.
No, that guy ain't dirty at all. There's no way.
Oh, no. Are you smirking because you know it's true? Yeah, he ain't dirty. Oh yeah.
not
Okay.
that man.
Not that man. Okay. All right. Okay, Mike. I got you, brother.
Again, you're going to have to show me some proof because I'm not buying it.
Okay. Well, guess what? I can send you some. I definitely can send you some, but you can't send me some. You can't send me proof on the
I'm
drugs.
looking it up right now.
The drugs are floating in the water. Okay. I want to see that. I want to see that. So, but anyway, no, you're trying to get me off my game, but it's not working. The point that I'm getting,
I'm trying to get you to realize that there's a lot of dirty sides out there, not just one side. And you consistently refuse to believe that there's a whole lot of dirt on both sides. And that's how I see this stuff.
Well, it's not equal. That's what I'm saying. And you seem to have a hearing problem. I told you there's corruption on the left.
One, you came up with one. That's all you can come
I
up
told
with.
I told you Nancy Pelosi. That's two, right? Well, give me another one. You give me another one. I can go down the list. I can even tell you people that's in his administration right now that are dirty, that have been to jail. Steve Bannon, Roger Stone. Roger Stone is not the administration, right? Peter Navarro. Those guys have gone to prison. Okay. The big guy himself, 34 felonies, indicted.
Which is bullshit. You know it.
Okay. And the only reason why he's not in prison right now is because he's the president. And you know that. The most corrupt administration I've ever seen in my life.
That was all political.
Isn't all political? Mike, the only reason why he even ran for president is to make money and keep his butt out of jail. Okay, he doesn't care about the American citizens at all. Look at the farmers right now. Matter of fact, he's going to look at the clip. He's talking about bailing out the farmers again because of the stupid tariffs. He said that on TV a couple of days ago. Well, we got so much money coming in from the tariffs, which is hurting the American people, by the way, that we're going to even have to send a little bit of it to our farmers. Again, that's taxpayer money. Okay, he's going to have to send it to the farmers. He did it the first time. The guy has no plans. Okay, wants to strip Medicare, Medicaid. You said, no, he's not going to do that. That's what they've been trying to happen.
Not going to happen.
I hope it doesn't happen, but he's trying to.
I don't believe that either.
That big ass ugly bill, I hope it doesn't. I really doesn't. Okay. And as a matter of fact, you got hospitals right now to talk about they're gonna have to close soon. Why you keep defending this guy? He has no policy.
I'm not defending him.
You are.
He's a narcissist. The reason he wanted to be president is for the fame and fortune. And every single one. And now let's go back. Every single one. Look at Joe Biden, a career politician. Excuse me. I didn't mean to say criminal, but career politician sucking on the teat of America. You can't. You want to defend one side and blow the other side up. You never balance out how you look. At least I balance mine out.
Hey, Mike, because it's not balanced. It's not even. It's hard to balance. I would call it, Mike. See, you're not being fair right now. You're being disingenuous because I told you.
I'm not.
Look here. I do not condone corrupt politicians. I don't care whether you're Republican or not. I don't care. But all I'm saying is I can give you a list right now of Republicans that have committed crimes, have gone to prison right now, that are corrupt as hell. Okay. And like I said, I can give you a list of them.
Well, if you gave me a heads up, I could give you an equal list, if not greater, of the other side doing the exact same crap.
You've had a heads up for a year. You've had a heads up.
You didn't tell me that was our topic for tonight. We're going to go after left and right.
I don't know where our topic is going to go. Okay, because one thing is going to lead to another. All I'm saying, I tell you what, let's do this. Okay, let's do this. Next week, give me a list of corrupt Democratic politicians. Give me a list of them. Okay, and I'm gonna come up with my list.
And the list is long on both sides, is what I'm saying.
It's not as long. It's longer on the Republican side. It's just like political violence is more on the Republican side than the Democrat side. And then the Republican says, well, no, you guys, defamatory language. You guys are inciting. When you got chief inciter in the world, talk about how he hate people. He wants people. He's going after his political enemies instead of doing something for the American people and the economy. He's got his enemies list right now. He's trying to convict James Comey. Now, you probably believe that James Comey should be locked up.
Based on what I've seen so far, he lied to Congress, and somebody that lies to Congress should be locked up.
And guess what? This has been shot down today. He did not lie to Congress because, oh my goodness, I saw his is it Andy McCabe? Is it McCabe? Okay, that's the one that he said that Comey had told him to leak the document or the information or something like that. And that is what they're trying to hold him on. McCabe just came out and says, no, he didn't. So based on what I hear, no, he's going after political enemies. He's going after Letitia James out of New York.
She's a piece of work.
Yes, she is. And she's smart as hell. And the thing about it is, and what is he going after her for? She said mortgage fraud because she has 2 residences. Well, he could be very easly be convicted of mortgage fraud.
She claimed to be married to her father. She claimed it was four houses instead of 5, so she can get a better rate. You need to go back and do a little reading. She lied her ass off.
No, she did not.
Yes,
2 houses are involved.
No,
2.
there's more than that. Going back to the 1980s, where she claimed her father was her husband.
Okay, I want to see that proof. That's not what they're claiming. They
It's
said
on paper.
2. They said 2.
It's on paper.
And then he had somebody.
They've shown the loan documents. In order to get a preferential rate on at least one of the homes, she had to claim it was 4 instead of 5 occupancy, so she could get a preferred rate. And then she also claimed that 2 residents were her permanent residents. You can only have 1 permanent residence.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And Trump hasn't done that. How about his? As a matter of fact, his finance secretary right now is guilty of the exact same thing. Did you know that? Did you know his finance secretary is guilty of the exact same claiming more than 1 house and then even voting, claiming his main residence?
Yeah,
did you
and
know
Adam Schiff did the same thing. He claimed that his California residence and where somewhere else on the East Coast were both his main residence. So he lied too. So again, I can come up one for one with you on all these people that are liars, cheats, thieves, and whores.
Not all of them. As a matter of fact, Comey's case is going to be thrown out. Letitia James' case is going to be thrown out, and Adam Schiff's case is going to be coming out because he has nothing.
We'll see.
And matter of fact, why does a president have to have a enemies list instead of working for all he is? I told you guys. I told you. You vote for him. He's going on a revenge tour. I told you. That's all he's doing. That's all he's doing. He's on a revenge tour. And you're going to condone that? That is so wrong. Okay, send it to me.
There's some pictures there. You can't see it very well, but there's an DEA officer with the dope behind him that they recovered from the ship that they blew up. There you go.
Okay,
yep. I'm sending it to you right now.
Send it to me. Send it to me. And guess what? And I will look at it with skepticism too, because I haven't heard of anything like that.
Doesn't align with your belief, so you're going to think it's skeptical.
No. What I'm saying is I haven't heard it before, and I'm going to tell you, the side that you are champion, they have been
championing any side. I hate both sides.
Yeah, well, you don't. You know what? Guess what?
I hate both sides. Let me be clear.
Yeah, but you never say anything against the right. You never say anything.
I said put them in jail. Put them all in jail. If they're liars, cheat, thieves, and whores and proven to be that, then put them in jail. All of them. Left side, right side, down the middle. I don't care. If it's good versus evil. If you're evil and you've done stuff to hurt other people, put you in jail. Okay.
Dan, your president should be in jail then.
Well, prove to me he's done something evil.
He's already been
being a blowhard. He's a blowhard.
No, he's already been convicted of 34 felonies, Mike.
And that was crap. That was politically motivated. And if he truly, how many people do you know that committed 34 felonies that are out walking around president of the United States? Again, does that make sense to you? Common sense dictates that it was crap. It was bullshit. And it was. It was all politically motivated because the left was targeting him, just like you say he's targeting the right now, or he's targeting the left. The left was targeting him, and they went after him with how many different cases from Georgia all the way to New York, and they targeted him with every crime they could possibly put on his shoulders. And guess what? Most of them have been terminated as far as being a case. And in this left is dead in the water because it's garbage.
Those 34 felonies still stand. He's been
Why isn't he in jail? Why isn't he in jail?
Because he's president of the United States.
Why did this felon get elected president of the United States?
Because you got some idiots. You got idiots out here that did it.
Because they don't believe it because it's garbage.
Because
the vast majority of people in America didn't believe it because it's garbage.
That's not true. It wasn't a vast majority. He got more votes than anybody.
They voted him. They voted him in. The vast majority voted him in.
Yeah. Okay. No.
You're telling me all the vast majority didn't see through this ruse of him being a criminal and a felon? The vast majority saw through the BS, and they voted him in as president.
He got more votes than anybody else. But if you add up all the candidates together, he got the larger percentage.
He got the popular vote, and he got the what's the other vote?
Guess what? And it wasn't overwhelming. It really wasn't overwhelming. And
I still got more than 50% of the people to vote for this felon.
Because
50%, more than 50% of the people voted for this felon. Why?
Because they're stupid.
Because they never proved the case. It was garbage.
Because they're stupid. You vote for this? Are you kidding me? Oh, no, absolutely not. No, I'm not. No. With everything that's going on, the economy is going down, inflation is going up. You got doggone tariffs that's kicking our butts. And I guess what, you guys don't realize it yet. You don't realize it yet. And you tell me, why are the farmers complaining right now? Why are farmers right there telling you losing their farms? Why is GM, General Motors, that lost, I think the last quarter, the major manufacturers in the United States lost $25 billion. $25 billion. Disney right now has lost over that Jimmy a stunt that they try to pull. Okay.
Which reminds me, we need to go back to Jimmy Kimmel at some point, please.
With Jimmy Kimmel, with that stunt they tried to pull on him, then Disney lost $3.9 billion in a few days. That's why they put him back on air. That's why Sinclair and it is a net star. They put him back on air because they lost $3.9 billion because people want to take away the free speech. And that'd be your segue. Let's go back to Jimmy Kimmel right now.
Very good. Thank you for going back. On the Jimmy Kimmel thing, what Jimmy Kimmel did, in my opinion, he was talking. He wasn't doing funny politics. He did something that I think was evil. He was making a statement that was hurtful, and it wasn't about comedy, which makes it different to me. Now, should he have been sanctioned or censored? I don't believe so. And let me tell you why. Because they gave him more of a platform by censoring him if they would have just let it alone. And now what happened? Now he's got this platform. He was shoved off the show for a while and hit all the newspapers. So now it's a big thing. So when he comes back on the air, he's got like 6 million viewers instead of 1.5. So they amplified him, Jimmy Kimmel, making him kind of a star for saying something that was in really bad form and off-colored towards the Charlie Kirk and his family. Mm-hmm. I don't defend what he said, but I defend his right to say it. And again, it was an extremely bad form, especially since it was the day that Charlie Kirk was killed. I think that was really unnecessary and self-serving.
It was the day after. I got a question. What did he say that you find that was offensive?
I'm trying to remember the exact term, but he implied, and I don't have the exact words, so you'll have to forgive me. I'm going to paraphrase. He implied that the MAGA community was trying very hard to prove that this supposed alleged killer was not part of MAGA, which he was implying.
Yep.
That which he was implying. Let me finish, if you don't mind. He was implying that this kid was MAGA, and MAGA was trying to disassociate themselves from him, and that has been proven not to be. The kid was very left wing, and so it looking at it from Monday morning quarterbacking, that was very wrong of him to say it. I still would defend his right to say it, but yeah, he was wrong, and history in short term, within a couple of days, proved that this kid was a lefty loony.
No,
and they had nothing to do with MAGA. Had nothing to do with MAGA, though Jimmy Kimmel implied he did.
Well, I don't see how that was offensive. He didn't say anything offensive against Charlie Kirk or his family or his beliefs or anything like that. Okay, nothing like that. I don't see how that was insensitive to say that MAGA is trying to not admit, I'm paraphrasing like you were, that this kid was one of their own. Okay. What? Okay. Because all reports that he had, I don't see anything wrong with that. Nothing insensitive like that, because the only people that would have or should have been incensed if he had said something disparaging about Charlie Kirk. Now, I can go on. I'm not going to talk about it right now about things that Charlie Kirk said that I did not like at all, and how offensive that he was at certain times. Okay, and we can get into that a little bit later on. But I don't see anything he said. Yeah, MAGA is not trying to get away from or cover up for or not admit that this kid was one of their own or whatever it is. Now, all reports was the kid's grandmother said that they were all MAGA. That's what the kid's grandmother said.
So Charlie Kirk took that and ran with it without ever doing any kind of investigation on his own and finding out, or at least waiting for the news media and for the police to figure out why and where did this kid come from, and why did he choose to take out Charlie Kirk?
Well, is that so offensive when the president of the United States came right out and said it was a left wing? Nobody's up in the arms about that. The president and the vice president and all the right-wing lunatics are saying, "Oh no, it came from the left. It came from the left. It came from the left." How are they allowed to say it, and a comedian cannot say the opposite?
Well, again, I think freedom of speech is very, very important. And I defend people's right to be able to say things, but it turns out to be true that this kid was very left-wing.
No, it is not. Nope. I disagree with you. No, it is not, Mike.
He's dating a trans woman.
What does that have to do?
You don't tell me that's not left wing.
Are you trying to tell me
right wing doesn't believe in that?
Right wing don't have any trans? Are you kidding me?
They don't stand on that platform.
Mike. No, brother, you are smarter than that. There are gay people and trans people of all parties. Are you serious?
Yes. I agree with what you just said, by the way.
Come on, man.
But as a platform, the left is the one that defends trans people way far more than the right.
Mike, yes, but that part is
the
true.
Rights.
That part is true. I go along with that 100%. However, we don't even know whether it's true or not. Yeah, his roommate was trans and supposed to be transitioned to a woman. Yes, I understand that. That doesn't mean he was. We really don't have any definitive proof on that.
Yes, you do. Go back and read read the emails that he wrote and the exchange he had with his lover. Go back and read his premise. He was very indoctrinated into the far left loonies. Very much so. No. Go back and read it.
Matter of fact, he grew up in a conservative household, and he was a registered independent.
True.
Okay, that doesn't mean make him left. And
Was he a registered MAGA? That's what Jimmy Kimmel implied.
That's
what Jimmy Kimmel implied.
MAGA is not a registration. It's just some stupid stuff that Trump came up with.
I said that tongue in cheek, William. I'm saying that they want to promote, or Jimmy Kimmel wanted to promote that the MAGA wing was trying to distance themselves from this alleged shooter, and Jimmy Kimmel was really wrong, and time has proven that he's really wrong.
Well, guess what? Wasn't Trump wrong?
Trump's a loudmouth.
No, hold on. No, there's no comparison. You cannot compare the president of the United States with a comedian. Two different things.
Why not? They both have a national platform.
Comedians
they both have a huge platform of people listening to them.
Well, it doesn't matter. You are the president of the United States.
And he is a major late night talk show host.
He's not as major as the
What's
president.
Your point?
Mike, the president of the United States should have some decorum about himself. He should have some class about himself. He should have some class. Well, he doesn't have any. You got that?
I told you, he's a narcissist.
Okay, then guess what? He's the president of the United States.
He's a narcissist.
He's a comedian. It will never be on the level of a president as far as leadership. We don't look to our comedians for leadership. He's the president of he's supposed to be setting the tone.
Jimmy Kimmel's show is supposed to be entertainment, not hate political speech.
Well,
that wasn't entertainment. That was not entertainment.
I thought it was. I laughed at it.
It was evil. It was evil.
No, that wasn't evil.
Yes, it was.
Well, then Trump and JD Vance, then Trump and JD Vance and the rest of those clowns up there, they are evil too, and they are held to a higher standard than a comedian. You can't argue that. The president of the United
I would agree that they should be held to a higher standard because they're government. Yes, I do agree with that. But they both have large platforms, and you can see, especially when you look at Channel 2, Channel 4, Channel 7, you can see how left-wing leaning they are, and they do everything they can to bash the right. And the right deserves to be bashed a lot of the time, but so does the left. Why don't you balance it out a little bit, and why don't you make entertainment? Johnny Carson never did this crap. He never did this evil stuff. And now Channel 2, Channel 4, Channel 7 constantly do this evil stuff.
Mike, they are comedians. It's
not funny. What he said wasn't funny.
It was to me.
Really? For him to say, to claim to imply this kid was MAGA, that's funny?
Yeah.
The day after this kid allegedly killed him?
Yep.
Well, that's funny.
You
got a weird sense of humor, pal.
Well, I guess I do. But the point that I'm getting at, you're going to talk about Jimmy Kimmel when your president does, and on a daily basis, do things worse than that. He talks about harming people. He's talking about hurting people. He blames the left for everything without any evidence.
And the left did the same thing to the right when they had all the White House, the Congress, and the Senate. When they did the same damn stuff. But you go about with blinders and earplugs, and you don't want to see anything.
No, I think when it comes to the right, you have blinders and earplugs on, Mike.
No, they're wrong too. I hate them. I call all of them liars, cheat, thieves, and whores. How many times have I told you that?
Well, you said that in a blanket fashion, but you tried to say or try to fix it so or say it so that it's equal. Both sides. It is not.
There's evil on both sides, and
there is evil on both sides, but it's not. It's not equivalent. It's not an equal conversation.
In your mind,
okay. Yeah, of course. I got my mind and you got yours. And you have a right to your opinion. I got mine. But the information that I'm getting, and I get as much information as you do. Okay. But you tend to lean towards Fox.
Why didn't you know about all the dope that was recovered from the ship that blew up? If you're getting all the information, the one I just sent to you, by the way. Why didn't you know about that if you're getting all the information?
That may not be true.
Saying you're not paying attention.
That may not be true because I'm searching through. Look, I look at a lot of different music. I don't sit by the TV all day long. When has that been reported on TV, Mike? And where did you get this from? When was that reported? Even on Fox, I would think that if that boat had all the drugs that you claim that it had, it would certainly been on Fox. Oh, that would have been oh shucks, yeah. Where did you get this information from? Okay,
This is from
Breitbart.
This is from UPI, whoever UPI is.
Okay. And how right wing is UPI? How come we haven't seen this even on Fox? Fox hasn't reported this.
I didn't get it off Fox.
No, that's what I'm saying.
UPI. It says authorities from the Dominican Republic said they have recovered cocaine from the speedboat that the United States attacked in the Caribbean last week.
And what does UPI stand for?
Picture. If you look at that picture, you can see all the dope behind it.
What does UPI stand for?
I'm not sure.
Oh,
I'll look it up right now.
Yeah, please do. Because how do you know that's not garbage reported? Because guess what? It has not been reported anywhere else. It has been reported on Fox, ABC, NBC, CBS. It hasn't been reported anywhere, Mike. Don't you think? And I'm going to tell you something. And then Newsmax, all of these right-leaning organizations, if it were true, don't you think they would have said that? Aha, this is why they did it.
This is a news agency that can't be credible if they're putting out false information.
Yeah. What are you trying to say? That it hasn't been, this hasn't been verified, has it? It hasn't been verified by anybody, because I guarantee you, yeah, if they put up false information, you just admitted what I just said. If it was credible, then how come it hasn't been shown on all the major networks? I'm gonna guarantee you, Newsmax.
It probably has, but I don't live on my TV or on my phone.
Well, I don't either. But I do check out. Let's see, Smart News, and other things that I go on YouTube. I check a lot on YouTube. Google. I Google a lot of things, and then I cross-reference it. What I'm saying to you, if you were saying what you were saying was true, then how come it hasn't been on any networks?
United Press International is an American international news agency whose news wires, photos, news films, and audio services provide news material. United Press International. Does that ring a bell?
Not really. United Press International. Okay, let me check out their credentials. And if what you're saying is true, I will come back on and say, Mike, you're exactly right.
Why don't you just go, instead of UPI, why don't you Google dope recovered from blown up speedboat? And you'll get article after article after article.
Well, I have something else to pull up. Once you pull it up.
I just sent you the first one I found.
That's the first one you found. Okay.
There's plenty more.
Why don't you go to Associated Press and see if they have it? Okay. I have something else I'm going to pull up. But nope. Like I said, I haven't seen it anywhere. And I'll guarantee you.
Just because you haven't seen it doesn't make it not true.
And just because you saw this crap doesn't make it true. Okay. So you can't go on. You can't say that this is absolutely true, Mike, without fact checking this. You can't say that. I haven't seen it anywhere. Like I said, I believe that I would have come across it because I look at a lot of different sources. Okay. And not only do I go on what, like the major sources there, I go on like Brian Tyler Cohen. I go on, let's see, the Midas Group. Let's see, who else I look at?
Midas Group is about.
Oh, they are outstanding. Oh, no, they are outstanding.
They're horrible.
Horrible because they don't agree with you. No, they are. No.
They're very extremely slanted.
No, they aren't.
Yes,
they report the facts. They report the facts. I've heard them call out Democrats before. I've heard them condemn Nancy Pelosi before. I've heard them condemn the Democratic Party for being so weak. Oh no, they're not slanted. Nope, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Let's see. Who else do I like? Farron Cousins. Okay. Love him. Let's see, who else is on that Midas Group?
Here, if I may. What about PBS? You trust PBS?
PBS? I think they are good. Yeah, oh yeah,
Okay.
I think they're good reporters.
Yeah, okay. Dominican Republic says it recovered cocaine that was on the speedboat that was blown up. So
Okay.
there's PBS. Okay, so you got UPI or whatever I gave you. Now you got
PBS.
PBS. How about Al Jazeera's? How about them? They
No,
said-
no,
Yep,
they're biased.
they seized 10,000 kilograms of cocaine. That was Al Jazeera. New York Times. How about the New York Times? You believe them? Dominican Republic says it recovered cocaine from the speedboat that was blown up, 1,000 kilograms. They're all saying, which is 2,200 pounds. Straight Arrow News, Yahoo News. How about all of these? Are those good enough for you? Is that enough for you?
I think so. Okay.
Okay. So just because you didn't know about it doesn't mean it didn't happen, and doesn't mean that you're getting news from the places you're going to.
Okay.
That's fairly big news.
That's right.
It's fairly big news. But the places you look for news, they didn't cover it. Why?
Maybe they
Why
didn't
didn't they cover it?
Hey, Mike.
Why didn't Midas Touch cover it?
I don't know why they
Pretty
didn't
big
cover
news. Pretty big news.
it. I don't know why they didn't cover it. Okay.
I asked you,
I
come on,
conceded.
you know why?
I conceded that you were right. What else do you want?
I want you to realize that where you're getting your news isn't necessarily the best place to get news, because they're not giving you everything. As I've just demonstrated, you're not getting the full story from Midas Touch with these other morons.
The point that I'm getting at,
you're getting left-wing garbage on purpose.
Left-wing garbage. Who's doing left-wing garbage on purpose?
And who's more left-wing than the New York Times and PBS? Those are left-wing organizations, and they're reporting it. But you didn't see that, did you?
Not necessarily. I still stand on the point, or to stand my ground to say you still shouldn't have blown up the boat. You shouldn't have killed those people. Due process.
That's the way you send the message. Because otherwise, if you arrest them, you're only getting a sliver.
That's bullshit.
It's hardly a dent.
You do not drop bombs on people. That's not due process. You lock them up
when they're that evil. Yeah. They're that evil. Yep.
Matter of fact, like I said, there's no proof that they were heading to the United States. Like, yeah, maybe the boat was pointing in that direction. It could be pointing in any direction. It doesn't matter. You still don't do it. That's inhumane. You don't blow up people, okay? Because they have drugs. You lock them up. You take the drugs, and then you find out
it does no good. Doesn't send a message.
Mike, guess what? You missed the point. You missed the point.
You forget that was my job, was putting people away.
Well, guess what?
Criminals just go to jail and they get back out and they do the same thing over and over again.
Did you throw a bomb in the house, or did you shoot up these people, or did you lock them up and take them to court?
We went to court, and again, it hardly made a dent in anything, because for every one you catch, there's another 200 doing the same thing.
Well, it doesn't matter. At least you got those 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 50.
Yeah, but you start blowing up these drug boats, and the other boats are going to go.
But did you blow up? Well, did you blow up any drug houses? No.
They blew themselves up sometimes.
Well, that's a whole different story. That's a whole. But you did not do that.
Do you know how many kids that I helped body bag with the coroner's office? How many kids that overdosed that I helped body bag?
I don't care how many.
With their grieving parents, their teenagers that are dead, and I'm body bagging them with the coroner's office so that they can load them up and take them.
I do not agree with your sense. Or
if you see some of this, it might change your mind when you see dead children. It might change your mind with regard to drugs.
I would say you lock them up, you gather the evidence, and then you make them rat on the bigger fish. That doesn't work that way.
The bigger fish have protected themselves with multi-layers of protection.
And guess what? If you have, Mike, many people have been busted because of snitches. Okay?
Yeah, but it's hard to get to the big guys.
Just like in the mafia. A lot of the lieutenants have brought down the kingpins. Okay, they struck a deal and they brought down the kingpins. This is what I'm saying. I do not
Rarely happens.
Mike,
rarely happens.
Well, then you have to look at who is doing the prosecuting. Who's doing it? Who are the prosecutors?
The little guy will give you the next little guy, but at some point there's a iron lid on who the big guys are.
Well, then I'm gonna get more than I had.
It's insufficient.
No, I don't agree with that at all.
How many kids are dying from fentanyl in the United States?
I don't know.
A lot. So
Well,
what?
Well, let me
Like I
ask you
said,
this.
the ends justifies the means in
Guess
this
what?
case.
If somebody is bringing fentanyl into the United States, who are the importers? That's an American citizens that are importing the drugs.
And there's a
American
market for it.
citizens are importing the drugs.
Yeah, and there's a market for it. You know, people are buying it. If people
This
weren't
is what I'm
buying it,
talking about.
they wouldn't be. They would have no market.
So why not blow up the people that's importing them? A lot of your big, wealthy billionaires
Works for me.
are
Lock them all up.
That's what I say to. Well, no, why don't we blow them up?
You know what? A little street justice might work. A little curbside justice. I'm sorry to say, but you know what's happening is the punishment isn't fitting the crime. It doesn't hurt enough, and that's why the crime continues because it doesn't hurt the criminals enough.
I understand
This
that.
hurts them a lot. When you start blowing people up in drug boats, that hurts, and they're going to think twice before they do it. You got to set an example.
You sharing this because you retired now. I understand. All right, this is
I
let's
would
go
do
to
my
our
job
last
no matter what.
We're going to go to our last segment right here. All right. Let's see.
California voters stopped
Come
rigged
on.
elections with an independent commission led by citizens. Prop 50 cancels this historic reform, once again letting politicians rig their own elections.
Keep California a leader for reform. Vote no on 50.
We're Phoenix Energy, a family-owned oil company focused on unleashing American oil from North Dakota and Montana.
Okay, here we are.
Pull her away. Pull her away. Suerte. Suerte, señora. Suelta la niña. 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 Adiós. Adiós. Adiós.
That shameful video has gone viral, and that particular ICE officer has been relieved of current duties after it has gone viral. He was tackling a crying woman inside the halls of an immigration courthouse in downtown Manhattan in front of her two children. That took place on Thursday. It was at 26 Federal Plaza inside the headquarters for several federal law enforcement agencies in New York City. She was clinging to her husband along with a young girl, plead for his release while masked officers hauled him away. After the officers pry the woman away from her husband, she yells in Spanish, "They don't care about anything." This is a statement released from Homeland Security Deputy Secretary Tricia McLaughlin. The officers' conduct in this video is unacceptable and beneath the men and women of ICE. Our ICE law enforcement officers are held to the highest professional standards. This officer is being relieved of current duties as we conduct a full investigation. My panel is Michael Imhotep, host of African History Network show out of Detroit, Matt Manning, civil rights attorney out of Corpus Christi, Texas, Drew Harris, Elon's founder and
All right. Okay. ICE. They have, in this big ugly bill, they have appropriated $40 billion a year to ICE. And I've seen video after video after video of these guys, and I think they are out of control. I think there needs to be a whole revamping. I understand that immigration is a big thing. And if you're here illegally, then you stand to be deported. If you have committed a crime on top of being here illegally, you definitely need to be deported. But these guys are completely out of control. They're out of control. I've seen them. I was looking at, I forgot where it was. Was it in Michigan or wherever it was? And it is a someone who's running for Congress. It's a young lady, a young white lady. Couldn't have weighed in more than about 100, 110, 120 pounds. And she was outside and she was at a protest. She hadn't put her hands on anyone. Okay. But she was, I think, speaking her mind or whatever it is. And this ICE officer grabbed her and threw her violently on the ground. I've seen them leaning on the necks of people, taking them out. And this thing, let's talk about this particular instance that I just showed. Now, I understand you guys who are listening on the app or Alexa or the website, you didn't see the video. But the thing is, they should be going into courts arresting people.
Why not?
Because the people who are going to court are doing what they're supposed to do. They are following protocol.
You don't know that.
Mike.
You don't know that.
I do know that.
We've already talked about this in an
I don't
earlier
care how
show.
many times we talk about it. Apparently, you're not getting it. Let me finish.
Apparently, you're not getting it.
Well, guess what? Then I won't get it. Because let me just say something to you. People who came here illegally aren't going to court. They're not going to court.
Are they arresting everybody that goes to immigration court, or are they arresting just certain ones? And if that's true, why are they arresting certain ones? Because they haven't done right for 10 years. And now all of a sudden the heat is on. So now they're trying to fix it after the fact. They're not arresting everybody that's in immigration court, are they?
I don't know. They're arresting more. All I see is what I don't know. I don't know. All I know is what I see. And the right way to get citizenship or the right to stay here is to go to court. You have to go through the court system. How do you know they've been here 10, 20 years and now all of a sudden they won't do it the right way? Well,
my understanding is the ones that they're snatching are the ones that failed to do anything for years. And now all of a sudden, because the heat's on, they're trying to fix it after the fact. And that's why they're being arrested. The ones that are there that have been doing it right, they're not arresting those people. You got to ask yourself why. Why is it just one or two? It's because they. And let me ask you before you go very far from this video, who's at fault for her actions? What you mean for her actions? Are you supposed to manhandle a woman like that? Let me reword it. Does she have any responsibility for what happened to her? No. And I'm going to tell you why. Really? Somebody is snatching her husband and she's trying to get to him. Did she strike an officer? No. Bonafide law enforcement doing their job. She's interfering with an arrest. And it doesn't matter what color she is or what nationality is. She is a person that's interfering with bona fide law enforcement, preventing someone from being arrested. So she bears no responsibility whatsoever. No, she doesn't bear any responsibility, Mike. You're a big burly man, and you gonna manhandle a woman like that? You don't need to do that. On the other side, would I have done it? Hang on, let me answer. Abuse anyone like that? Let me answer. Come on. I wouldn't have done it that way. Why? Why would you have done it that way, Mike? I still would have separated her. I guarantee I would have separated her, but I would have done it in a less violent way. So I'm not condoning the way he handled it, but he had every right to separate her from the husband, and she brought that on herself. Let me ask you a question. If she obeyed the officers that told her to stay back and let go, would any of that happen? If she had stepped back, no. If she
No,
had
she-
obeyed the officers and let go and stayed back, would any of that have happened?
Well, you know, if she had stood there,
No,
and,
answer the question.
if she had backed off,
Answer the question.
wait a minute, let me finish. If she had backed off but still mouthing off to him, they may have come up and done it. We don't know. All I'm saying is there's a reason why you wouldn't have done it that way, because you know it's dead wrong. You know it's dead wrong.
There's
treat-
many ways to skin the cat.
Well, you don't skin it that way.
Like I
was
said,
gone.
I think he was a little more aggressive than he needed to be. There's other ways to go about that, but none of that would have happened if she just would have done what she was told by bona fide law enforcement.
I don't think
Should people that argue with law enforcement, should they bear no responsibility to what happens to them?
argue with law enforcement. That's freedom of speech, right? Of course. Didn't you say
But
that
when
you
you're laying hands on and disobeying
didn't lay-
a direct
she
order,
didn't lay
from law
hands
enforcement,
on- she didn't
a
lay hands on
bona fide
people.
law enforcement officer told you to back off and stay away. Did she? No. She bears responsibility for what ultimately happened to her. Was it probably more violent than most officers would have
Of course
handled?
it was.
Yeah.
It was
So
wrong.
there's two wrongs. Two wrongs here don't make a right.
But then guess what? Then guess what? The DOJ doesn't agree with you. Then why is he relieved of his duties then?
Because he probably was more aggressive than he needed to be. Plus, it's in the public eye. It's all on the news. So what are they going to do? They're going to try to quench this thing by putting him on desk duty or whatever. Ultimately, he'll be back with. I guarantee he'll be back with his job.
Of course, they're going to give him a slap on the wrist.
Legally, he did nothing wrong. Legally.
I don't. I'm not exactly sure about that.
What did he do that was legally wrong?
Abuse.
He removed her when she wouldn't obey. That's not abuse.
She's holding on to it. She's trying to hold on to her husband. Well,
and she was told to let go. And she was told to get back. She was told to stay back. Did she do any of those things? No.
It doesn't matter.
She was given a lawful order by law enforcement, and she refused to listen to the order and obey the order.
Well, guess
she
what?
brought this on herself.
If she brings a lawsuit, if I were the judge, I'd lock him up. Abuse of power. And these guys are out of control. The people, they don't care. And I've seen women, and now this has nothing to do with someone's color, because I've seen them abuse white women. Okay? Like I said, this young lady who's running for Congress, and she's outside peacefully protesting, didn't put her hands on anyone, and this guy almost body slams her, throws her out in the concrete on the street. These guys are out of control.
I'm not familiar with that, but you're telling me this law enforcement officer just went up and body slammed this woman for no reason.
She was there out protesting. He was pushing her back. Okay. All right. And at one point, she was standing there. So he just body slammed her.
Based on what you told me, that's wrong. I haven't seen it. So, yeah.
And we've seen it time after time after time. These guys are out of control. All right. You've had this guy, this ICE officer that killed someone last week. They said that he dragged this cop. We didn't see the evidence. I know the guy, he got in his car and he was trying to back away. They said the cop was dragged, and so he ended up shooting him and killing him. It's absolutely crazy.
So it's okay to drag a cop?
But there's no evidence. There's no evidence.
Well, if he got dragged, there's got to be evidence.
Well, guess what? There was a camera right there. He was on the other side. There was no pictures of him being dragged.
Again, I'm unfamiliar with it, so I don't know.
The first report came out that he suffered major injuries. But then I saw another clip after the thing had happened, and he said, "Oh no, I just got just a minor bruise here."
So I'm unfamiliar with it, so I can't comment.
You can't. No, I think it needs to be dismantled. It needs to be revamped. I think you need to get some people that's going to police the way police should do it. And again, if people are going to court, then apparently they're doing something right. Now, there has been reported that people who came through the border legally tried to get asylum, they're going to court and being arrested. So the people say, well, damn if I do, damn if I don't.
Do you know the exact circumstances of the ones that are being arrested?
I can't tell you the exact circumstances of anything. But what I'm saying, Mike, if you're going to court, you're trying to do things the right way. You know, you said, well, it could have been 10 years or 20 years or whatever it is. But the reports that I've been looking at, that people are doing it the right way, and now they're afraid to show up to court because they're afraid.
I find that hard to believe. What I do believe is they didn't do it. They haven't been doing it the right way since they got here, and now all of a sudden it's catching up with them. Otherwise, they'd be arresting everybody that went to immigration court.
Well, we don't know how many people they're arresting, okay, and how often they're doing, but they're doing it a lot.
There's extenuating circumstances.
I have seen situations. I'm not gaslighting. I'm not trying to make this up. I'm not making this up. That people have whether they had a green card or whatever it is, being arrested.
There's
Okay,
extenuating circumstances. I guarantee you.
I've seen situations where you had this college student that was in the doctoral program. She got arrested. Now she was here legally on a student visa, but she got arrested because she wrote an op-ed. That makes no sense at all, because she wrote an op-ed and little Marco Rubio didn't like it and canceled her visa. But not only that, she was arrested by ICE.
So I am familiar with that, the lady that you just mentioned. So do you think that people come to America for a better life? And they get their visa, or they get their whatever it takes to stay here, student visa, whatever it might be. Do you think that people come from another country and want to speak ill of the United States, wave their own flag from their own country, and call America evil and bad? Do you think these people with visas, you think they should just stay?
Did she do any of that? She just wrote an op-ed.
Yeah, she spoke very badly about America.
What did she say that was very bad about America?
I'd have to go back. I think
because
go back and look it up.
No, I think that she was pro-Palestine.
Okay.
I believe that had something to do with it.
Okay.
But she shouldn't have had her visa. What about freedom of speech, Mike?
Freedom of speech, but if you're here on a visa, that's a little different.
No.
Yes, it is. You are a guest here in America. You are not an American citizen. You are a guest, and you best mind your manners. Do you let guests come into your home, William, and just act out and say, "Hey, your house stinks and it's filthy"? What are you going to do to them? You're going to throw them out of your house. You damn well know.
That's my house. But the whole thing about it,
this is United States of America. This is our house. This is our home. Don't come into my home and talk down about my home.
If you are here legally, then it's everybody's house. It's bull. It's bull. Mike,
don't come op-ed and talk bad about America.
You lock somebody up for an op-ed because you don't like what? No, I don't care. I don't care where they came from.
People in America, you're not a citizen. Get out. Stay out. Don't come back.
No, I don't agree with that at all. I think freedom of speech means freedom of speech. Now, because she is a guest, because she is here legally, guess what? Those same rights protect her too. It's in the Constitution. The same rights protect her that protect us right here. That's right. She did nothing illegal. You may not agree with it.
You may
not agree with it.
And think that that's okay. That's not okay. If you're an American citizen, you have more rights. You have the Constitution. If you're not an American citizen and you're here as a guest on a visa, you best mind your manners, mind your mouth.
That doesn't mean I have to keep my mouth shut.
Oh, you don't. No. But this is the ramification.
This is not Russia. It's not South Korea. It's not China.
Exactly that. F around and find out. Well, she found out. Bye-bye. Get out. Stay out. Don't come back.
He was wrong. He was wrong. Well,
you think?
Yeah, and I'm gonna stick to it too. He was wrong. Little Marco. Oh my goodness. Anyway, Mike, that was fun. We're out of time. Guys.
Please tell people our relationship before everybody thinks that one of us or both of us are assholes.
They already know. Mike and I, we're the best of friends. You may not think it when it comes to the boomerang.
But I feel safe telling William my true feelings, and I hope he feels safe telling me his feelings. And I respect him greatly I don't always agree with him, as you've seen here today, but I love this man. This guy, in all of the versions of life, except maybe politics, we get along famously, and we are the best of friends. I guarantee it.
And no question about it. No question about it. And guys, for more of this, check us.
You can
out.
stand it.
Check us out next week on the Boomerang. But before that, check out. You'll get a better understanding of how we are Thursday, and that is Coast to Coast, Mad Mike and Wild Will. And I want to thank Howard Harris for filling in last week. He was somewhat tame. He was somewhat tame last week.
Really?
Somewhat. Yeah. I had to put him in his place a few times, but that's all right.
I appreciate him greatly stepping in for me.
Yeah, we too. Hey, thank you guys so much. Valor, Emma C, I know 007 is listening. And guys, thank you so much for tuning in each and every week to the Boomerang. Now, it's about an hour, 59 minutes. Come on back. All right, it's Sunday Night Goes with yours truly, WB and the Jazzy Diva. Mike, enjoy your evening, my friend.
Say hi and give Jazz a hug from me, would you please?
I will, buddy.
I'm probably not going to be able to listen. I got something else I got to do here in a minute, but yeah. Love you, William.
All right, buddy. Love you too, man. All right. Enjoy your Sunday.
But y'all know time don't wait for nobody.